Bam. Hi, I'm Seamless. This is the 7th part, I think, of the modular Electro track from scratch. And we have more things that we did because we made a lot of sounds. And now we cut them up and put some of them in here. Not all of them, but some of them. And it sounds like this. That sound is kick-ass. Yeah, what's great is that like this sounds like a wildly different thing from like beginning to end, but it's all the same sound. It's honestly like kind of close to each other, which is funny shit. Somebody in the chat asked, "Is it possible to have modular and virtual?" And the core of it, yeah, that's just kind of what virtual stuff is. The whole idea of modularity is that you don't have a fixed signal path. You can choose what you want to have in your signal path. This is kind of like having plugins, the VSTs. The modular thing is actually a digital property that wasn't really a deal easily in analog synthesis, although like there's a lot of way older modular stuff, but like the whole modular idea is something that's actually way easier to do digitally than it is to do in hardware. However, if you're talking about sort of like some of the stuff that I was doing with it, like the FM and whatever, that's also possible. It's just a little bit hard. The closest thing I've seen to being like one-to-one kind of relationship with how you could do this is actually Reactor 6 blocks, of all things. So it's pretty good. It does have a few limitations that wouldn't really be there for hardware, but for that's the best digital representation I've seen of modular stuff so far. Yeah, so this bit, I want to do something about these chords. So if you remember, these chords are these that I elected to make as such. And they're fine, they're all right, but I kind of want to beef it up a bit with additional stuff. And also that, like, I'm really not this is like the most basic progression in the universe, and I've used it in like every song I've ever made, and I'm a little less on board with it than I was when I made it. I mostly just was sort of scapegoating it just so I could have, you know, these. But so I'm gonna try to do some chords. Some chords. Some people didn't see those chords, they weren't aware. Yep, these chords were recorded manual unison because that's how you do this in the analog world. The whole concept of unison is entirely not an analog thing unless you have a polysynth, which is not even really. Is that something an analog can do? I mean, you just have to have more than one oscillator, but I'm pretty sure that's something to do with, you know, digital processors, digital synthesizers. Okay. So I want to do things with saws. If I had like a mixer, I suppose I could do multiple inputs from here, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oscillators. I can't make all of them saws though. In fact, I can only make 3 of them saws. So I have 3 saws, and I can put a square in there. I can put 2 squares in there actually. And this, with pulse width modulation, they can act like saws. It's just that I don't really have a way to get these out efficiently. Because I could put 2 in here, and I could use the stack cables to kind of pile them on, but that runs the risk of damaging hardware in a way that I don't fully understand because I'm not 100% on how all this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 saws in here. Can I reach with any of these? I have some long ass cables, but they're not that long. I have extensions, but I don't want to get up and get them. Okay, I guess we're just going to have to do this manually again. But I'm going to be a little bit more careful this time about how I do this. Let's use the DPO saw and the Pittsburgh oscillator saw. So to do that, I need my stacker. Oh, I really want to go to Burger King now. Stacker, 1 volt oscillator, where you at? Luckily, the dual oscillator nature of the DPO actually transmits. There's this follow thingy over here, so I don't have to put 1 volt into both of those. I might not have to do that in the dual oscillator up top either, but so far I'm unfamiliar with how that works. What am I doing? Saws. Right, so I need... Oh, Jesus. I need to have you... I need the gate. Oh boy, so if I do that, will that trigger both of them? Let's find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. So, saw. That can't even reach. Okay. Now I don't have any of my long cables. Saw from across the court. Saw. Okay. Should really be making sound. One volt. Gate. CV. I'm doing this backwards again? Nope. Am I muting it in FL? Yep. Here. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's actually retune the oscillator. Am I the transpose? No. Okay. That was weird that it slid. Alright, so now the other guy. Now we got saws. See, now what's that? Why is that bumping happening? For what reason? I'm not recording an Edison, am I? I'm pretty much just not using Edison anymore. I just tried to delete it with the delete key. I tried to delete the Edison instance with the delete key. In fact, let's delete a bunch of stuff that I know that I'm not using. Chords. Man, just 2 saws sounds like a totally sweet lead. Now, what the hell did that? So, all right. I need to actually like arrange a progression before I record this. I want to do this not with the analog stuff because I can't do that. I don't have actual chords. I just need to have a thing I can write chords in. Lol. And then I'll just put that, I'll just transpose that. Transpose onto these. Remembering where the tape is so that I don't write behind it. I don't know why I do that. See, that could be a thing. Sevens? I'm trying not to just do the same thing twice, but let's put some interesting chords in here. I'll try and just like. All right, so sevens really didn't work in that context. Then do the G. And the C. I don't know why I separated that. There's a chord that I did by accident one time that was really cool. I suppose it could have A in there too. A 4. I don't think I made a 4 yet. Well, I wasn't, yeah. I'm not going to do ghost and stuff again, so none of that. Was it the 7? No, it had to have been, it was a, an add. It was a 7, the C? C and the D. Or was it the A and the C and the D? That's basically what I was just doing. It shouldn't really work. Whoops. The chords need to be sweeter. Well, okay, I'll turn up the sweetness knob. Thanks. Do a silent chord. It's like do a barrel roll. Oh, hey, by the way, if none of you have done this before, you should go to Google and Google do a barrel roll. It's really funny. Fla, 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 fla. It really, man, I'm bad at chords. I've always been bad at chords. So that chord, I'm not making a haywire track, so I'm not gonna just fill it with 7s. But it's really just the same chords I just made. And then you could put in a 5, that could be interesting. And then the C. That could be interesting. All right. Let's start putting down the analog stuff. So the way this is gonna work is, why is it portamentoing? I didn't tell it to do that. It should really just be snappy. Unless I... See, there's no glide time. Oh, it's because of the follow. I'm an idiot. There we go. Derp. So that was that first chord. And pretty much the same deal as before. This time, however, I'm not going to do like a 7 billion layer. I'm just going to layer these guys since they're the chord. I'm not going to bother doing unison. I suppose if I wanted to do unison, I could do it digitally. Just layer the same thing against itself. Derp, derp, derp. So before I do that, not totally fond of the chorusing. Can I even... All right. Now, because Edison is rebelling, we're going to do this is the way we been doing everything else so far. Why? I think I'm gonna have to do some freaking like phase surgery. Actually, speaking of which, this might be a reason why. Oh, yeah, about that. That explains a lot. I don't need it to be that hard. Damn. Although as I was just explaining about that phase surgery, that's why that was like that from when I was doing this with the other chord. Do. Oh, no. Oh yeah, much better. These are also the same sound, right? Yeah. Also, lol, it keep being put into the freaking 100. Yeah. So you, bam, bam, wee. Wow. GG me. That's okay. These aren't going to be that long anyway. When I use them in the song, so I just kind of like here, and it'll be fine. Of course, later when I have like a melodic break, I might have to make a longer versions of this, and that'll be a bit more difficult. High pass. What would be the purpose of having great PPQ? Well, PPQ determines how far I can zoom in. So if when I'm looking at something like this, and I'm thinking to myself, I really should phase align these. It's really hard to do that from this particular amount. But if I were to go in there and bump it up to super high again, as you can see, I can zoom way in there, and like make more deliberate decisions like this. Although, I mean, this sounds fine, so I don't necessarily need to do that. But I lived on the whole time, and increasing PPQ does increase a lot your CPU usage if you just kind of do like a lot. So that's why the editor was freaking out, because it was trying to keep track of that, and it was having a hard time. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing this. What I should be doing is just bouncing this to just a stack. Error and all. Somebody asks, does Ableton have a synth like Citrus? I hear good things about stuff Operator can do. I've never personally used it, so I'm just sort of unsure about that, but it's as close as I'm aware as exists in Ableton. Put you inside. Put you inside side. Normalize so you're not peaking, although that doesn't necessarily really matter. Turn you the damn down. So now I added actually an extra chord that isn't in this original set, but I'm probably just gonna pitch one of these down to make that work out. It's like. And that's how that works out. Oh, hey, I forgot about the 3. Whoops. That's the D again. Wait, is that a bass sound? It's just in the chord area. I'm like, whoa, whoa, And I also just realized none of the basses are in that 5. They require a lot of selective pitching, which I suppose I could do, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Oh yeah, I wanted to change the side chaining to do this. I like these guys. So I'm gonna keep these here just in case I fuck this up. But I'm just curious if I just kind of scroll through here. Man, so many of these work. I think I should probably have that in the beginning, but I'll just have one of these other guys. Because let's put that in there as a variation, but that's just too sick not to do a whole bunch of times. Come on, give me, just move it. My God. Someone was talking about Groove Machine kind of weirdly, and I believe you're referencing the samples I used in my older songs, like Bass Antics or whatever. A long time ago, they actually put those samples in FL. They're just there now. So they you don't need to worry about Groove Machine. Groove Machine isn't really a thing. Bam. Okay. That's the end of this part, but I actually want to do some more stuff. Wow. God, it's just a constant bass adventure. Because I don't remember like every minute of every second. This is why I do like minutes of this shit, because it just is a palette of endless awesome. make the drums dubstep style, so you make different variation chops. What? Bass Adventure is the name of the song now. Actually, I'm into that. I'm cool. Don't care about zero crossing setting from samples, chopping, does not matter about those high frequencies. It doesn't really matter most of the time. Mostly just because this is being compressed to hell, so the problems that zero crossing would cause aren't really a thing. And especially on hits, because they're all being ducked completely out of the way. So a lot of that is just not interfering with anything. So I want to not use this again. That's a pretty cool variation, though. Yeah. God, I still hate this chord progression so much. Like, I just like, it kills me to think that's just like, to make this better, I have to make the new chord progression, and then I have to make the chords again. But I'll do that. I'll do that because I don't want this song to be mediocre. All right, we'll call for today. I'll just play this again, and then that'll be the end of it. Nope. Was it this guy that I didn't like? I heard something I didn't like in here. Why would this dude? Whoa. That's cool. Anyway, yeah. So, for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.